this. Some people end up in MUBS at S6. Then they work like our American system of a certificate, 2 years. Then they do the actual degree. But they've already been earmarked for a job. I'm telling you, there's a feeding frenzy where somebody will say, have you sat in water in Changwanzi? It's like me telling you, have you got the Management Institute certificate? You know, there's somebody who asks you such questions, and you're looking for... You don't see them as markers. Life is all about markers. You've seen those points that's showing you 40 miles to go to Jinja. It's like, my homeland is far. I've heard that several times from people who come back home from Europe and wherever. They can't believe how far we have gone. Home is. Home. Yes, I'm getting the wisdom now. That's how far So the markers. Somebody will always tell you at what point you should move to. But also those people who are mwana wa ugundi, mwana wa ani, are feeding on to this tradition of narcissism. It's all about my children, my line, my lineage. That is all feeding frenzy. So that's the narcissism. I'm not politicizing. No. You are right, because I've actually been asking myself, because I work with people. They're always about my money, where is my money? And I'm like, it's not about your money, it's about satisfaction to the client that we're serving today and the society we're serving today. Have you fulfilled the mandate of serving the client effectively and having this? Money will always come, but we always have. So it's not about politics, about just the way we demand for things, even when we don't deserve it. Let me give you an example of that. When I did 1 year and disappeared on the streets, some secretary in a bank saw a new face. They're like, where's that man who used to cross the Kampala road with 2 steps? I was so quick. 2 steps, this is because you're tall and you're long. They won't see my speed. Do you know that we walk very fast, people from England? You notice how you slow down? Because their life is fast-paced, which is different from here. When I got to London, I was being knocked by people passing me. By Jove, excuse me. Hey, mate, come on. We were too slow. So I have a boy called Idiwato Chom. Can you tell us if this is what is happening to you in Swansea? The speed. The speed in London. So I'm waiting to see Idiwato Chom come back to Uganda and walk like that. I came to Uganda with an Audi Quattro speed. Kankanan. Remember the Kankanan rally driver speed? That's what I came back to Uganda with. And I got a job. And I was on double turbo speed. And I shot up. So people were remembering me for the service. And it became an accolade on your name. My God. Now, after 4 years, I become the senior manager. People are like, does he go to the water? Agenda kumazi. What does it mean? What is the mission of the going? Going to the water is superstition. You go for witchcraft. I looked at this is really the wisdom. The wisdom, like circles. The elders' wisdom circles. I was like, I'm British. What's your problem? Now, after 4 years, I become senior manager. They're like, no, she today. I would actually find funny fetishes on my chair. I'd pick it up, and then Northern style, I'm like, hey, I come from the elephant's clan. My grandmother is a python. My mother is the beautiful bird, Nyonyi. And she's also has the kabiro of the leopard. There's nothing that will happen to me.
Ladies and gentlemen, hold it right there. Hold it right there. We're going for break, yes.
It was pure to Nigeria, yes. But I was using a British accent. So you know, Muzungu, no, Mudugaba, Kadugana, Nanga, Fuaruzungu. No.
Hold it right there. We're going for a break.
I was on an upward mobile trajectory, and it was simply because of I had accepted the work ethic that my father had instilled in me.
Yeah.
And I was actually utilizing the same skill setting, but I was actually marking time. I was not at full capacity.
Wow.
But something happened.
Now hold it right there. That's something that happened. We're coming back for it. This is the Elders Wisdom Circles with the one and only Jafar Raymond Amin, the first son of the former President Idi Amin Dada, who lived all his life in glamour and everything glamour and find himself on the street walking fast. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back after the break. Who better place to tell us the story of what happened? We're sharing the wisdom of what happened when elders steps in to speak to the young people. Jaffa, welcome back to the program.
Thank you.
I
was saying something happened.
Yes, you're saying something happened, and I want to get back to that something that happened. So for you who are just joining, I want you to go and send us a message. Send us a question, a comment, whatever you have, and we'll be able to answer here. This is called Wisdom Corner, the Wisdom Circles. We've lost this in our society today. We don't have it. Elders don't sit and give us moments to listen to them. We don't understand what is going on. So we realize that narcissism has become a new religion in 2020, right? Selfishness is taking over everything. Elders have the same thing. So we're talking about this, and I'm talking to the first son of the president, and I'm going to be able to bring all of them to this program. All of them. They have been into the State House. They've enjoyed it all. They've been around the world. And they are now here living with us. All right, so let's talk about
all around Africa.
All around Africa, actually, we're going to bring.
For me, that's a perfect suggestion.
Yes. So let's go back to
something happened.
Yes, something happened. What happened? Let's talk about it.
They did not understand how I got in the first place. If your former colleagues are telling you, but how did you get here? Your days are over. I'm like, what do you mean our days? Yeah, but you were in the 70s, now it is our time. I'm like, my mother, you see the mother behind there? That's Mohima. She's actually Msongora from Kasese.
Yes, and you look like one of
you see that woman there?
Yes.
That's my mother. She's from Kashari.
Yes.
You know, markers. Remember those side road posts?
Yes.
Signposts?
Yes.
I was pointing at one.
Okay.
My mother's from Kashari. Kashari? Said, my nose is smaller than yours.
Yes.
So what are you talking about?
But you don't speak the language.
I'm like, I've been in England forever. I was pulling ranks on them in a nice way.
Okay.
But then I realized the British have what we call self-deprecation. It means you lower yourself intentionally just to get along with those who are unmanageable.
Can you repeat that again? What does the British call it? What?
Self-deprecation is the ability to lower yourself so that you bring yourself to the same level as those who are not quick on the uptake, or they just don't understand why you succeed and they don't.
Yes.
But I got it from Spencer Kamugisha. Spencer, you Muchiga man, you taught me a lot. He called me once in because I got angry over something.
Yes.
Said, Jaffa, sit there. Said, Jaffa, one of these days, whether it is tomorrow, today, or whenever, you're going to be in this seat of mine. He was showing me his seat.
Yeah.
I want you to learn to come to the level of those people you work with. Not everyone understands the way you do. My God, that was a wake-up call, but it was a mentoring that was happening.
Yeah.
He could have blasted
How old were you, by the way, at that point? How old were you?
I was approaching 30. I was approaching 30 because I got married as soon as I hit 30.
Okay.
It wasn't about, I'm not ready or what. For me, it's about time.
Okay.
So I married in 96. So by 94, I was like a 28-year-old.
Yeah.
And with a short fuse.
Okay.
But the best employee.
Okay.
In the business.
Yes. At the time.
So I was beginning to get the kind of stuff this Muyaye from Kamocha is getting now. Everybody's hitting at him.
Yes.
I'm explaining the political arena.
Yes, yes.
He's going to get more fire from the very people he used to eat with.
Yes, with and drink with and stuff. Yes.
Not his actual foe.
Yes.
And he'll always think it is the enemy. But there's no enemy.
Yeah.
It's just your friend saying, who do you think you are?
You are, yes.
I said, you people, we all have sections, we all have boxes, we just deliver.
Okay.
I deliver every day about 4 tons because I was manning the business district.
Okay.
That is all the embassies, all the banks.
Was your boss being strategic that I had to put a son of a former president because you are used to protocol, you are used to
He had just seen
Yes.
that for me it was not about pinching the next cookie.
Okay. Yes, by the way, talking about
honesty.
Yes.
It was all about honesty and integrity. Do you know you see that a mile away from your children, you see it from your brothers? That character shines. I think mine was shining brighter than the rest. But I seem to be getting it in an easy way. Do you know what happened? This is what happened. They started skirking their work and leaving it to Jaffa.
Because you had the ability and more energy to do that?
I enjoyed my work. Majority of people out there do not enjoy their work. They are a square peg in a round hole. Or they're
wow! I hope you picked that one.
They're a diamond, and it's just a small circular tube sitting in the middle. You just don't fit. I'm not an authoritative person, yet I am because of my upbringing.
Okay.
But they just saw a manager in me without me seeing it. For me, proaction simply means do it before it needs to be done so that you are ready for the next objective.
That's wisdom right there. That's wisdom right there from the wisdom, the elders.
Wisdom circle.
Yeah, wisdom circles. I'm picking that one. If you're watching the program, I hope you're picking that one, you too, as well. And we're actually having this with the elder has to have, we wish to have like sort of like a fireplace where we eat kasoli and whatever. So this is going to be the program that gives you the best of experience of the elders' wisdom circles. We will eat kasoli. We will eat kasoli is roasted maize.
No meat.
Yes.
No meat.
No meat. We're going to eat just this. But you might want to get a nyeri and eat a nyeri or something like that.
Wild rats. Now we don't have a It is fish. I drink sai. I drink choda. We mess around with the pronunciation.
Yes. Anyway, so let's go back to this. So did they see you?
No, they ganged up to me in a sweet way. I ended up burning my candle on both sides.
Okay.
I was on gear
Would you say that you were not wise enough at that point?
No, I was saying, let me show you. It's like me dunking on a 7-footer. I'm 6'1", but I have the capacity to dunk on anybody.
Yes.
I'm like a Spud Webb who was 5'7". He was a short man who could do incredible dunks.
Yes.
And not many people remember Spud Webb, but I ended up with what we call where your motor neurons stop. We call it burnout.
Yes.
I had now been promoted to air operations. Everybody was leaving everything to me. And one day I was on the computer and what I was thinking was not getting to my hands.
Okay.
And it was an urgent report. And my mouth was beginning to stop. And I'm like, Patrick. Now Patrick used to work in the place I got him in. He became my #1 person who was with me on my side. And his father, by the way, was the one who designed the UCB house. I never call it Chum Towers, it's UCB house.
Even me, I call it UCB House. Yes.
Museum Subuga designed it.
Okay.
And we were getting. I got he was actually a 6'9" tall young man.
Okay.
And I was just like, Patrick, yes sir. He calls me from the other side. He was actually a supervisor. I'd made him a supervisor.
Yeah.
Just to make sure
things were okay. Yeah, we're yes.
Yes sir. Whatever I'm thinking is not getting to my hand. I think I'm getting what we call burnout. And I use the proper word.
Yeah.
This is burnout.
Yeah.
Can you get me home? Now, Superman had
finished, gone, done.
It's like Iron Man. It's like Iron Man getting
the whole son of Amin, the great man, the Jaffa, the giant.
Man who thinks this is his company has ground to a halt.
Wow.
Had ground to a halt.
Falling to the small man and asking Patrick to take him home. Yes, yes.
Do you know how you do the gym?
Yeah.
My gym was takeout.
Yes.
Dance from 9 to 4 in the morning.
That's another story for you. I'm bringing that in the wisdom circles of how I met Jaffa and
my
and
point
how he
is
used to dance, the electric man. Yes,
but for me, that was my gym.
Yes.
That was my releasing this pressure.
Okay.
That I learned from.
Yet many people misunderstood you for being so low and stooping so low at the time at Stakeout because you were dancing crazy. They didn't understand what was going on for you.
But I was the best dancer.
Yes.
But
we used to ask ourselves, how can a whole son of a former president go low?
The boss of the DHL.
The boss of the DHL.
It was no longer my past.
Yes, yes.
It was present. I was the boss
of DHL at the time.
Above me, there was only the country manager.
Yeah.
I was the top man there.
Yeah.
Then they realized, I'm not here to play. I'm not here to drink. But I dance my music. And Akibua's son was the DJ.
Yes. Tony Bua.
Anthony Bua.
Yes.
Akibua was.
Where is Anthony, by the way?
We're together in Mutungo.
Okay.
We're both on the same hill.
Okay.
This country is known for 2 names, Akibua and Idi Amin.
Yes.
In terms of name checking.
Yes.
But my point is this. Yes. When I came back after 2 weeks, I started that regime. Rather than gym, Friday, I dance the hell out of the place, go home and rest. I'm ready for Monday.
Okay.
And I learned that mentorship. And they told me, Jaffa, learn to teach the next person who can help you.
Okay.
I see you're very comfortable with Patrick. Identify another 4.
Okay.
So that you have 5 people who at any notice can be able to replace you at short notice. I learned that mentorship, and they've taught us that when we're hunting. They taught us that when they taught us to shoot the gun. we did. Nowadays I see it fashionable, people going to do target practice. Demystifying the gun is fine, but these are the things that your parents teach you, whether it's to hunt,
how to protect yourself.
And then I managed to teach, I believe, 5 people to do that.
Okay.
In 2005, I decided to resign. It wasn't a forceful resignation. It was simply my brain started saying, what have you done for your community? It's not a political statement. For me, those signs of issues of reconciliation, because I was meeting people with those same questions. Why is he having a good life and we didn't have?
Yes.
You get such vibes.
Yes, his father did this to us, this happened,
You either become a victim or you victimize.
Yes. Those are the 2, It's actually African, it's happening everywhere in the world.
Now, sometimes you would want to be like a lot of people are doing. It's like you love your chicken, you know you're on a stage, so if you get 20,000 crowds, how easy is it for me to get a constituency. I'm trying to give you an example of my Kamacha son.
Yes.
He's beginning to realize how tough it is now.
Yeah.
But if I can get a crowd of 30,000 to come and watch my show, how easy is it
to try and convince them
to move a crowd?
Yeah.
It's a different mindset altogether.
Yeah. And not always going to be very successful.
Of course.
Of course, pushed by certain things.
Believe you me, when I started reconciliation, what I call community work, people are like, no, he wants to be a leader. Nah, this man is trying to get a platform for his politics. I'm like, my father was not a politician. I'm never going to be one. I might become a brigadier general somewhere, but I would never become a politician. You would not want to hear the straight talking that I'll tell you in parliament, without profanity, without abusive words. But I'll be able to tell you what needs to be done.
Is this,
But you do that in community work. My wife did not understand it. My children are like, we've gone down a notch. We've gone down a notch because I was upward mobile. But I said, look, sometimes fulfillment comes from unexpected corners. If you Google me, I've basically taken up my father's 2 million hits. You know, they're very strange statistics. Mandela hit 60,000, but Idi Amin hits 2 million. Just by name search. And I've practically inherited that. How I use it is what the politicians, the security people, or marketeers are like, but doesn't he realize how easy he can earn from his name? I said, I do know, but it's what I do with the name that matters. And that is the most cherishing and fulfilling thing I've been doing since 2005.
Wow. I just want to take you down as we actually wind up. The show is coming to an end today. The Elders Wisdom Circles is coming to an end. But before we bring this to an end with Jaffa, at some point people felt like you were running mad.
In what sense?
You used to walk and talk alone. And
did that happen?
Yes. At some point, you'll be walking and talking alone. And this happened at some point towards 2009, 2010,
Did that happen?
2012, yes. I would think that you were always meditating while or thinking in your mind and working and doing your stuff. But a lot of people say, Jaffa has lost it. And
let me explain that.
And I kept saying that I want to know,
Let me explain that. In England and in America, that is actually normal. It's actually normal.
I found myself doing the same thing at some point.
No, we do it.
I found myself doing it myself.
Voiceover. If I've learned my lines and I'm moving to location.
To record, yes.
To location.
To location, yes.
I'll go through the words.
To go and voice this radio ad or this TV ad, yes.
I'm the #1 voiceover in Africa.
Yes.
I convinced you to buy city tires, keeping you safe on the road. So if I'm doing that and you people think I'm mad, it's like you with your Togo talking. Isn't everybody with the
Togo is talking, yes.
Now, if I have mine here and I'm talking, doesn't that look like I'm mad?
Yeah, of course. It definitely.
Everyone in town.
Yes.
Yes. You remember the original ones with
the of the old days of Celtel. I mean, the Celtel,
the sweet one. I call it the sweet one.
Yes.
I hate this double.
I remember when growing up, General Salim Saleh, when I first heard of the mobile phone, it was the Celtel days. Used to have this huge phone that looks like a brick. We'll carry the thing and we'll have that thing coming like this. I used to look at it, I'm like, look at General, it looks like cool. I used to enjoy the thing. I was like, one day I will have this one also.
There are two things. Yes. I was either on that, for me mine was a sweet one.
Yes, just the one that used to be just,
around your ear. Because for us we said, don't mess the side of your temple.
Okay. Which is the left side, yes.
People don't understand that our phones have a lot of microwave waves.
Yes.
So a lot of us avoid it. Keep it on the hip. They said, but you're messing around with your next child. I'm like, where do I put it? Yes. I'd rather hit on my hips and I'm talking. Yes. Oh, somebody saw me talking and I was heading to the next
record
gig.
Yes.
We call it a gig.
The gig, yes.
But believe you me, in Africa, the reality of depression is existent. Yeah. You reflect and you discuss the implications of your past or your future.
Okay.
And if you saw me doing that, I think I'm the most normal person, because the only way you can judge somebody's state of mind normally, the hygiene goes south.
Yes.
Now, if somebody is totally smart, you can't question the mind.
Yes, of course.
But I've always been British. I succeeded in Uganda because of that.
Okay.
It is normal there.
Okay.
It's not normal in Uganda.
Yes. So I want to say this. You say you've always been British and it's normal there, it's not normal here. I just have a very, simple question to put to you as we wind up this interview. What did it feel like having been in that life? I will keep taking you back to that life, having been in that life of the first son and what it feels and the wisdom that your father, please take a sip of coffee, that your father kept giving you guys and stuff like that in your own words. And now coming down to this old situation that you went through, the narcissism that you say has become a religion of us going, and you started experiencing this thing like way back in 1990s and it's still going on and it's becoming worse in the 2020 as you talk about. What did it feel like, you sort of like losing everything, being in the exile and coming back and starting all over again?
But we haven't lost everything.
Yes.
Everybody has a status they look for.
Yeah.
I don't have a sense of greed or an urge to accumulate.
Okay.
That is the character of Jafar Amin. My brother can pass me by with a hammer or Mercedes Benz, and that's okay for him.
Yeah.
We live in the same town, the same city.
Yeah.
I'm a community-based person. The same thing that took me to the village was me saying, what am I giving back to society?
Yeah.
I have a low satisfaction level. Narcissists don't. They want everything, and it's about accumulation.
Yeah.
Yeah. They become like the British magpie. Yeah. The magpie will steal every Rolex in London, and you'll find it in the nest after 50 years when they decide to cut the tree because they were making a new highway.
Yeah.
I'm just giving you an example of
that's another wisdom, deep one, right?
Everybody will look for the Prince of Wales lost his Rolex. They'll find it in that tree with the magpie in Buckingham Palace. Yeah? It took it off the coffee table and flew up to the tree.
Yeah.
I'm simply saying I've never been about want, but of course my children and wife have needs.
Yeah.
But I told you a very important thing at the very beginning of this show last week.
Yeah.
Politics of privilege is what you expect from me.
Yeah. I
can't sing issues of Ebiafte because the day Kabaka Mutesa sold the country down the river in 1875 by calling in the missionaries, we've been selling ourselves short until today.
Okay.
Now, if you think that privilege has to be to the 9 families, then you're wrong.
Yeah.
I am totally contrary to the issue of politics of privilege.
Okay.
People always say, why aren't you demanding your houses? Why aren't you? I said, look, society wants this family to be punished.
Yeah.
It has become an acceptable norm.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lean back and let you. I always have a British saying of do your worst. But you'll find me in the most unexpected of corners talking to the people who matter. Politics of privilege is not my way.
Okay.
Demanding what is duly mine.
Yeah.
In 60 children, how far are you going to divide? We've only lost 5.
Yeah.
1 boy and 4 girls.
Yes. And the rest.
But the 55 are fighting over trinkets. Trinkets are what?
Yes, yes. And you use the word trinkets quite a lot.
Yeah, trinket is...
Explain the trinkets to us because really,
Do you know the first trinkets? In Simbi. That was money, the original money. Whether in China, whether in China, our form of money is in Simbi.
Yeah.
Cowrie shell.
Okay.
Those are trinkets. The British would bring wire, knowing that the Maasai just love their wire. They would give you whatever you want, as long as you give them their wire. When the man was actually a Baluchistani, came to Uganda, they used to call him Ebirevu, Ahmed somebody. He brought them cotton, but it was the poor type of cotton called Americani.
Yes.
It's a very light, what we Muslims use for burial.
Okay.
All they wanted from us, due to their extractive agenda, was slaves and ivory.
Yeah.
So they exchanged trinkets for valuables.
Okay.
Now, how much more valuable will I be standing there and saying, I am the son of Amin, I demand such? Politics of privilege.
Wow.
Tribes are demanding it as a wholesale. In Uganda, it's we first. So you first? But I'm up here. Yeah, but I'm first. I'm number 1. I'm giving you the whole issue of politics of privilege.
Yes. And so how does that fit?
I am comfortable in my skin.
Okay.
The day that your life is all about keeping up appearances, then you're wasting your time.
You've lost everything, yes.
No, you'll always be on that treadmill. Huh?
Okay. So, Jaffa, on the wisdom circle, on the elders' wisdom circle today, what would be our take home from this topic today that you want to leave us with as the wisdom of the week that I must speak from here and go with? And for everyone who is watching the show all across the world, thank you very much. On Twitter, on YouTube, on Facebook, this is Elders Wisdom Circles, all right, with of course Jaffa Remo Amin, aka Salongo.
My take-home point for today is the only narcissist notion that I accept is putting family first. I climbed mountains. I'm the most filmed person in my family. I've written a book. He's questioned my sanity, but I hope I've made sense to you. And the fact is, put family first. At 54, I hope to be able to say, after these 6 months of traumatic COVID-19 challenges, put family first. And by the way, it was a blessing in disguise that we ended up with the people you keep missing every morning, and you miss out on your last born sleeping by 9 because they wanted to stay up and wait for daddy. Those moments, you notice how you're going to cherish these 7 months of COVID-19. For me, it's a blessing in disguise, putting family first. And if you can always say me to my family, but also we to community, will make Uganda a better place. And please, it's not about insult. Insulting somebody is not a sign of intelligence. The narcissist in us would actually say, if I can throw a barb at somebody, insult a person, I've won the argument. Let's learn to debate. Let's learn to get insight out of other people's point of view. And my height is meaningless, until I have to grab that mango faster than you do. Or my son dunking on a fellow soldier, and he's not even a soldier, but playing with tough men and succeeding. If I can be able to show the child that I'm putting them first, then that would be a change from the adjustments that I made from thinking about myself. Because by the way, the corporate world is a narcissist. Then that teaches us a lot of unsavory habits. Okay. The same people are earning so much money, they ought to be able to give back to family and make sure we put the family first. So if there's any narcissist notion or accolade we can accept, that is putting your family first. But please, no nepotism in the place of work or political status. It shouldn't be about politics of privilege. Jafar earning more than others because he was one of the 9 first families of this country. No. I am an everyday people, and I am comfortable in who I am. But I want to make my children proud and comfortable in the pursuit of happiness. Can we put that as a new policy in Uganda? It's the only thing we should take away from America, narcissist America. Pursuit of happiness.
Wow. Jaffa, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, that has been the Elders Wisdom Circles with the one and only Salongo Jaffa Remo Amin, the son of the former president, the one who saw it first. And he said the first 9 families, the first family, the first
first 9 families.
First 9 families.
It should not be about politics of privilege.
Yes.
That word is narcissistic at the highest level. We should be about, it's the same word, we in English. But when they say they're actually meaning young.
Yes. So young, even if you in the family who says this is mind, it should be about ours going forward. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of the program. I thank you very much for being part of the Wisdom Circles, the Elders Circles. We'll be back next week on Saturday, same time, same place. Before we start taking the Wisdom Circle all across the country, speaking on the fireside and looking for the 1%ers of the wisdom.
Above 65.
Yes.
They're there.
Yes, and we're looking for them and we need them.
Very disgruntled people.
Yes.
But they own everything.
Yes.
And they're responsible for our past. Remember that.
Thank you very much for being part of the show. Until next week, God bless you. And it's a wrap from us here at the Wisdom Center, or what we call the Elders Wisdom Circles.
aliye kama wewe, sijamwona Mungu mwingine kama wewe Yesu, sijamwona bado aliye kama wewe. No, sijamwona Mungu mwingine kama wewe, sijamwona bado aliye kama wewe, sijamwona Mungu mwingine kama wewe Yesu, sijamwona bado aliye kama wewe, aliye kama wewe Baba, hakuna kama wewe. Yo, nani kama wewe, ewe Yesu nguvu zangu nakupenda sana.
You're my king, you're my savior, nakupenda sana.
Umenipa maisha, umenipa uzima, umenipa na vyote ninavyo Baba, nakupenda sana.
Love you, savior, nakupenda sheri.
Hallelujah, nakupenda sana. Hakuna mwingine, ni wewe, hakuna Baba. Hakuna kama Yesu, hakuna kama Baba, bado.
Sawe tose kwejijo kebera kola bekubudde dobozi lidi n'oguno omujaja n'amabidde
sesamu enkuwereza ntudde ku kyoto mpa Kampala sitenze bamanyini n'akatinko
kuza bamanya Oluganda lw'enkuba sirina budde burape Kampala bwewaana akatinga budde
wereza amatooke ne lumonde saako n'ebinyeebwa akatunkuma amayuni kingere ndese Luganda
ibyaddi gye watugamba ffe tulinze stories elevation copies nga zitunze
soka videos mwana nsulewo busingo malenta balezi BET nze sitya losi
mwana wange losi nze njitya chovola basikowa nina okugunjula emiti emitogi neginaddawo
pause nange bwentyo nina okuzaalira eggwanga lino nga sinabaawo
anazaala teyeerangirira gwejjayo sitolezo oba okubabula ng'ogenda bwerange ku laadiyo abawala b'omu Kampala nze mwannema akajanja mwagala okukwanibwa naye okuzaala nedda
ogambye eki guno omulembe ki tunazaala tutya abaana ng'ate mwe muliyala mukwanisa obusente ng'ate tebuliiwo okwana agine beti nga tosula wa sofi
bwe mba nsula wa sofi ye yangwana lwaki ansa yammwe yes buli abagambako mwagala abasajja bokka bajjayo zidoola zino ennaku bwengula ekikomando nti nedda
topiki njikoye tudde ku birala obonga nani mu Uganda sizonya nti yeeno
mbonga n'oyo yenna n'akyusa eggwanga anajja bw'emize emibi wano ng'okusumagira
mbonga n'oyo yenna anaafanga ku bakyala breast cancer amalwaliro tulina matono
mbonga n'oyo anaaleeta enkyukakyuka mu nsi okusomasome nga nkimanyi omulimu weeguli
mbonga n'oyo anaakendeeza kutya gaasi kuba ku kampasi ng'oyo okwekalakasanga
ze mbonga n'omusajja najjawo ebinnya mu kkubo alwanyisa enguzi ng'eno asasula n'abasomesa
mbonga n'oyo yenna anaafanga ku bavubuka kulwanyisa yala mu zigeto ffe tubba bubbi
mbonga n'oyo yenna nga masita pulana akoleyo site mu Uganda nga tulina endala
mbonga n'omusajja anaafa ku muntu w'ensi akendeeza akabeeyi ka sukaali kake wansi
mbonga n'oyo mu nsi yange atatunda bintu kuba mmanyi nti saawa yonna nanga ntundiramu kati gwe bonga nange
bonga nange
obonge nange
obonge nange
bonga nange
nkugambye bonga nange
tobonga n'abayaye bw'oba ojagala okukyusa bonga nange
bonga nange
obonge nange
obonge nange
kugambye bonga nange
nze nkoyo kubonga
tobonga n'abayaye bw'oba oyagala okukyusa
Signalise for Royal Highness drift on the beat Big Mott peace
Yeah, Moon G. A story began. He had big dreams. Ezokubera superstar. Nga MJ ngo bwala bomukabira. Facebook poster. Ebisawe nga bijula. It was all a dream nga bigi bwe yagamba. But buli we yatuuka nga kazindalo. Nga crowd emwoganira vayo. Yayimbanga yekwese emizindalo anti ku stage bamukubanga zichokolo naye nga champion nalemerako giving up teyakirowoozako. He worked hard natuka ku radio bwe yakola video takyava na ku TV yo kati bwatuka ku stage nga bawugana the same people bamugamba nga vayo bapromota mu kusooka nga basalawa kati ekivulu bwatakibaako tekijja kukwatayo. That's a champion. Kasitobera n'okukkiriza. Everything is possible if you truly believe. Kyokka omusajja gye mumanyi yakuba ku buloga kati afuga escalade enju eri ku acres 2. That's a real champion. That's a champion. Ono yaviira Masaka Mzee Boy yaweta teri kusoma school fees zabula yapakasapakasa era obusente bwe bwawera 12 ku macanga ali kuzidde Kampala. Muwino mwe yatuukira okusuubula abayaye sente ne bazikuba yeyiyayi era n'asuubula endiboota awezezza emidaala ena owino ne bajooca. No ebyokudda esakala yagaana obwongo obwesera ng'era yasala lwera yayiya ekijji wakati mu city center kusuubula jini kati yatwegombesa anti emaali ajja China amaduuka awezezza 3 ku Nabukeera 26 landlord takyamukonko na mami asula muyenga sister asoma bwa doctor. That's a champion. Kasitobera n'okukkiriza. everything is possible if you truly believe. Temumanyi street kid eyambala nga kasati kamwaka yero pasto muyimbi kati bwalonkinga buli mwaka abantu ne bayitirira. He's a champion. All I'm saying is teri kitasoboka. Yeah, better n'okukkiriza. Osobola okuva kataka ke kamwoje ncha ne bakusanga mu Emirates mw'okusambira. Osobola okuva mu saloon ncha ne bakusanga nga Serena igwagikulira. All I ask, big brother, have a little faith. Better n'okukkiriza. Kasito beera n'okukkiriza. Buli kimojja kifuna. Everything, anything. Buli kye wali olonzeeko. Kasito oba n'okukkiriza. And you'll never take him to church.
If you believe, then you can achieve it.
Kati boda boda jivukize mani na kukkiriza. Enjaba gena kusanga magulu 10 yo. Beera n'okukkiriza. Omupaka sigiza nisemani na kukkiriza. Majestic Plaza tegenda kubeera yo.
If you believe, then you can achieve it. Anything
Student, work hard. Beera n'okukkiriza. Government sponsorship ogenda tuukayo. Neraba atandika nawe beera n'okukkiriza. Waditale nchazizo. Bwe kiri. Just believe. Set your heart to it. Believe.
You can achieve it.
Teweerayo okusaba. Enkya basobola okugamba mu Uganda tutte World Cup. Kase tuba n'okukkiriza. Beera n'okukkiriza. Ekyo olina emputtu.
Speaks his mind out, is naturally a person who knows what he's doing, is naturally a person who cracks jokes. In fact, a friend of mine said he should just, every time he does a skit, he should just give him a moment and just share. He wants to pay for it. Richard, welcome to Creative Industry Talk. How are you this morning?
I'm very fine. You just reminded me. I've lost money.
Yes, you've lost money.
I've not shared with him.
Yes, he said whenever you do a skit, just send me and send the invoice immediately. Yeah. And I said, wow, I wish I would have a talent and gift like Richard, where I don't have to work very hard and the money just finds me.
Boss, we sweat.
I know. But welcome to the program, Richard. We want to say thank you very much. And how have you been?
I've been okay.
Yeah.
I have constantly been COVID negative.
Okay.
Yeah. I assume.
That's a very good one. Yes.
I've not tested in a long time.
Yes.
But we're okay. A lot has changed.
Yeah.
We have tried to change with the change.
Yes.
Yes. And along the way, you know, you discover here, you lose here. But we stay above the water.
Yes, yes. I just want to take you straight to Richard, to the first question we always ask on the Creative Industry Talk. Who is Richard Tuwanje if I am looking for you? Are you Ugandan? If yes, what are the values define you as Ugandan? Yes, that question is usually a question that gets so many people punching on the streets of Kampala and across the world. If you ask them a question, who are you?
Yeah.
Some people assume that everyone knows them.
Yeah.
And yes, we see you on TV every other day. Yes, we see you all across Africa. But who is Richard in a nutshell?
That is a very difficult question.
Yeah.
Yeah, because personally, I believe some people's values change along the way.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, life is a game of, you know, discovery and rediscovery of self. But personally, I believe, plainly put, Richard Tuwanje is a Ugandan who is a multifaceted entertainer.
Yeah.
who has his hands in not just one thing, actor, comedian. I don't know whether I should call myself a singer. Yeah, I think I'm safe calling myself a singer, not a musician.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're going to sample that song already.
Yeah, I used to
know.
So I do a bit of music. I'm a producer on a wider scale because well, most of the art I do, I also produce. Some with the team, some alone.
Yeah.
And as a human being, I stand for good for all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. That right there is quite a deep statement. I stand for good for all. I would like to take this moment, first of all, to welcome everyone to the Creative Industry Talk from all across the world. Thank you very much, all our brothers and sisters in the United States of America. I hope you did not jump on that plane and you're part of the 600 people from Afghanistan, you know. And of course, to all the creative people all across the world, we want to say thank you very much and welcome to the space for the creative right here in Kampala, the capital city of Uganda, going to the rest of the world. Richard,
yes,
welcome to the show. And now that we know you and now that we understand who you are, just away from seeing you on TV, our topic on the Creative Industry Talk today is about creativity for business success in Uganda.
Yeah.
Creativity for business success in Uganda. When we posted this yesterday, a lot of people wrote back and they were asking, creativity for business success in Uganda? They don't even understand what creativity is. Now you are putting the mix of success in it. And I mean, how are we going to do it? So I said, well, we will have to have a discussion about this. And of course, we're going to be joined by Faizo Chiwewa. We were supposed to be joined by, Jeremy Biemanzi from Nomad Advertising. But unfortunately, Jeremy has got an emergency that needs to attend to. He will be joining us next week. Okay. And of course, we want to take a moment to welcome Faizo Chiwewa all the way in the outside countries. How are you doing in the cold?
Thank you so much, Eddie. I am okay. I just arrived like 5 minutes ago in Antwerp. It's I would say the capital of the Flanders in Belgium. So it's where I am, and I had to find my way to get to the show. So I'm very excited to join you guys.
Very much, Faizo. Thank you very much, Faizo, first of all, for joining us. I hope you have had a very good ride on the train. In Uganda here, when we talk about the train, we only remember in the 60s. I don't know whether we should... Our train hasn't yet been...
I know nothing about trains in Uganda. I just read. What I see down there below Ginger Road, I think those are just carriers, you know.
Wow.
Train has.
Yes, and when my uncle tells me the trains were good, so seeing Faizo ride on the train in Europe is quite an amazing stuff. But gentlemen, welcome to the show. So today we want to just ride straight to this, discussion. I want to give you a context, Richard. There is artistic creativity.
Yes.
And there is a more general kind of creativity that we see in people that could also be called the ingenuity, innovation, the lateral thinking outside the box. We've heard people talk about this very much, or simply the problem solver.
Yes.
And we are going to mix the two together to basically find what is best for us in our discussion today. We're talking about creativity for business in Uganda and the success. But the context here is that creativity in business is a nifty way of thinking that always inspires people, challenges people, and also help people to find innovative solutions that create opportunities that we always use in our day-to-day life, okay? And of course, opportunities out of problems are key, and we're talking about the pandemic situation right now. The COVID-19 has brought, a challenge in the industry. But how are we turning these opportunities and challenges to actually create opportunity to solve the problems that we have or we had already before? It is also the reason some individuals, of course, and companies attract our attention to either goods and services or to products that we need. Yes. It comes from the creative mind. The ideas, the amazing ideas, sometimes seems very, far-fetched, and other times is merely the follow habit, and some people really just go through with whatever the flow is. But today on the show, I want to take you straight to this background. And I want to start with you, Richard, here in the studio. First of all, is creativity an important skill to have?
it is a very important skill to have. Unfortunately, it is not for all. Yeah. And I think, you know, the nature's laws, I think, dictated like that, because I mean, if all of us were creative, it would be so hard to cope with the world. I mean, you're trying to catch on this and something new has come. But that is where we are going. It is very important to be creative, because it helps you stand out in whatever sector. I believe it. You know, when you come, most of us are followers before we get creative. There's always a trend, whether in banking, the arts, the sports. There's always a trend, and that trend, at whatever given time in history or in the future, it will have been brought about by a few creative minds. So, like you said, it's the creative ones who create even opportunities, not for just themselves, but for others. And without just limiting it to art, it is so important that if a particular sector is so clogged with competition, chances are the one who is going to slide off the conventions will either stand out or it's not a win all the time. Because you can create your way to your failure.
That's true. Absolutely.
So it is important to be creative, but it's also important to create with high regard of the audience. That you're creating for. Most cases, creative people are also very egoistic. So when the idea comes and he likes it, you're not going to try and tone his idea down.
This is my idea.
To match the targeted audience. He wants to run it the way he has thought about it. So creativity is very important, but also most important is, who are you creating for?
Wow. Faizo Chiwewa, all the way in outside countries, you've heard from Richard. Richard is saying that it is important that the creativity is important skill for a person to have. Do you agree with Richard, Faizo? And also on that background, Faizo, how do we, profit from the creativity in business, if at all it is important as a skill?
Thank you so much. First of all, to compliment Richard for how he looks. I mean, you can see that creativity has made on some weight. Despite all of us who are losing weight during this COVID, Richard is gaining weight, which is good to see that a creative man. Excitingly, I would say. I totally agree with his notion on yes, creativity is necessary. It's not for him, but it's also something that we need nurture in everyone. That's why we encourage our children at a young age to really try to practice different things, test different experiences, so that they could define themselves in the future, whatever course they take in life. Be not just redundant or dependent on what they're told to do or what they must do, but also be supportive of our community. And I'm always fascinated creatives really contribute to changes that we see in societies. And you can see in Europe, you find a lot of things done, but not necessarily provided by authorities, governments, but by individuals who find hardships in terms of their day-to-day life, and they think about solutions to go through these hardships. And those solutions then eventually become public necessities or public goods that everyone now needs to use. For example, you can, if you walk around, or if you move around, like just what you talked about at the beginning, the necessity of having a train. I woke up in Holland this morning at 6:40, and by 10 I'm in Belgium, and I'm having a congress here. So that thought of creativity to say, you can call it also innovation, to make people's lives easier, is really what our country would need more of this kind of input in our day-to-day life.
Richard, you've had the man woke up in Finland.
Was that meant to make me feel guilty? Because I'm the reason this show started late. Just from Muyenga to Bukoto.
Yes, he has juggled so much traffic and a lot of things have happened. But you see, Richard, that's why we're saying if there's a creative way of thinking about stuff, would be able to save and there'll be a lot more success. And that really resonates with our topic today. Richard, what jobs are in the creative industry? We're starting to build these things about our discussion today. What jobs do you think are available? You're already earning out of it.
The creative industry.
Yes.
First, it is so wide. Yeah. People look at the creative industry. When you say creative industry, they think about the creative performance.
Yes.
Yeah. But you see, those aside, we have people behind the scenes, the producers, the guys who do the technical work, and then the creative industry does not just carry the artistically creative or the performing artists. We are living in a time where, life has changed. The phone is now a performing space.
Yeah.
The internet is a performing space. So, you're holding your phone and you have a multitude of stages here. You're free to choose. The people who create all those spaces are also creatives. They are at a very different plane of creativity also. But all creatives are important. Personally, I think to a certain extent we are important in equal measure, because Mr. Eddie Okila is going to have a platform here that is so different from other platforms. And the reason he shaped it that way is to serve a certain segment of audience, TV viewing content seeking audiences. But Okila will need the performers on. Okila will be the producer. The performers will be there. The writers are going to get jobs. That's why sometimes me in Uganda here, like the only way we can have as many creatives incorporated into the creative industry is for those who can create to focus on churning out the art. The more art you put out, the more people you pull into the value-adding chain, of the final products. That I have experienced along the way when we seek to grow. You create more, and you realize along the way we have, brought in this big number of contributors to the final product.
Wow. Well, Richard and Faizo, this is a very interesting part of the show. The jobs that the creative industry have. I want to dive to Faizo in Belgium. Faizo, you've heard from Richard. What jobs do you think we have available in the creative industry?
I think, as Richard said at the beginning, the creative industry is really huge. When we start mentioning the sectors within, I would call them, some are sectors because they're informal, others are industries because they're formal. But there are also those formal and informal industries within the creative industry, or the creative arts, or the creative behavior, I would say. But the kind of jobs, let's start with, what we are doing. So we are in the arts. I'm a programmer, and that whole line of business you are familiar with. Richard is in the, in theater and comedy, and that chain of business is very familiar to us. We know what they are doing, and I think maybe what is different in this case is like the acknowledgement of the actual number of people or number of jobs that are associated in our line of work. When people see Richard performing at the National Theatre or at the backstage side, we are talking about costume designers, we are talking about set designers, we are talking about makeup artists, we are talking about communications person, ticketing persons, we are talking about advertising, radio interviews, TV interviews, and all these jobs. And when you look at the people and the amount of effort as well as the amount of to this kind of work, it's appalling. And then these are some of the things that we know. But then when we shift with art forms like new media, when we talk about new media, we're talking about, design, graphics, we're talking about advertising, we're talking about software development, we're talking about programming, we're talking about all these things. So when someone sees like Eddie, you're here hosting us, you're in Kampala, and we're talking to each other, they don't imagine the amount of work that was put all us talking to each other live in such a diverse space. So this is creativity, this is programming, this is thinking, this is offering a solution to a need that is identified, maybe not on a daily need, but it's almost something that you need once in a while. So there are so many jobs, they cannot be counted. But what I want to assure our listeners or our viewers is that we have, as within the creative industry, the highest number of employment opportunities. There are so many that need our services in terms of when we get it to work, and there are also those that so many people that we need to make sure that we pull off our events. When I have Baimba Festival as a small example of what happens within our day-to-day life, I have at least 1,500 staff working at one festival. Those include my core staff, they include service providers, they include volunteers, they include interns, they include, partners, sponsors, and all these people are at the festival making sure that everything goes on as it is planned. So I cannot start mentioning how many jobs are there, but to be sure, they are very, very many.
Wow. Well, you've heard it from Faisal. Thank you very much, Faisal. Richard, I want to come back to you on this part. And of course, welcoming all the viewers from everyone who's watching the show. We are live on Facebook, on YouTube, and all across the world in all our platforms. By the way, we're live on our, www.houseoftalentuganda.com. It's live, it's streaming for everyone across the world, so please enjoy. We want to hear your comments, kisses and disses coming. We love to hear them. We love to hear them. If you're doing well, kiss us. If you think we're doing bad, diss us. We are okay. We are creative people. We take this. Richard,
yes,
you've heard what Faisal just said, and I like the first 2 questions and 3 questions. I want to go to the third question, which is, what are the types of creativity that we can profit from? We're talking about creativity, and we're always talking about creative people on stage. We don't understand that the Fun Factory has got a shipload of people behind just Richard to look good on screen and to be, looking nice and to speak whatever is speaking nice on stage. Yes. There are a lot of people behind there. So I want to just ask you a question. What type of creativity is there for businesses to harness? Given your experience as a stage performer, as a copywriter, which means you're writing a lot of copies to corporate companies for products to be communicated about, to be consumed. What do you think the types of creativity that is there that we can profit from?
As businesses?
Yes. As individuals as well as businesses,
yes. You just mentioned some of the most important ones there. First, just the creativity to produce art that can just, touch people's hearts and lift their moods, and maybe also help them think, in certain thought processes that they wouldn't have if they had not consumed certain pieces of art. That creativity is very important. That one is that, I think that is the longest serving kind of creativity for humankind, because I mean, since the medieval times, that kind of creativity is demanded for leisure. Now, creativity for business development, where some of these there are talents that can be applied in all those places. Now, we have people like me who applied their talents in places in spaces like copywriting, where you use your creativity to nail a message or speak to a company's potential customer and also speak to the one they have, so that you need that creativity between you, the brand owner, and the brand consumer. You need some creativity there to keep these people emotionally connected to your product.
Wow.
Yeah. Sometimes you might be good enough at designing the product. Yeah. But you're not as good enough at gaining and maintaining the confidence and emotional connect to your product. That is when you need people who can, pick that creativity off the stage, apply it in this business space also. The creativity of, the world has become so visual. The world is so visual that if you have a message and you do not design it in maybe typography, you're not going to. You have to apply some typography. So and creativity has really, to me, we are living in a time where creatives have to be very awake to the fact that the audiences that we are creating for are exposing themselves sometimes much more than we, the creatives.
And they're also becoming creative themselves in their own right.
So they attain a higher level of judgment of your art. That if you do not expose yourself better or more than they are exposing themselves, the audience will run away. It will be 3-4 steps ahead of you, and by the time you wake up to chase this audience and get it. It's not that you're not creative anymore. They have exposed themselves much more. And now, so creatives have to be on their toes because our audiences are becoming more creative.
Wow. Faisal, we want to dive to you in Belgium. You've heard, I think Richard just said something fundamental to understanding. If a business person is watching, they need to understand where Richard is coming from. If a creative person is watching, they need to understand that if you're not constantly putting your craft together, that audience that you're creating that product for is going to come for you. And once they get exposed, they might age you out, not because you're not doing something right, but because they're already exposed to a manner in which they can judge the product and know what is good and what is not. Just before we go for a break, Faisal, your thoughts on that one? What type of creativity do we have in theater and performing art, as well as, from a programming point of view, as a guy who is always doing stuff for entertainment? Whenever we are stressed, we run to you, and you guys give us relief. Faisal, over to you.
Yeah, it's very interesting, and I think, as Richard says, that one of the things that we strive for as programmers is always the consistency and also understanding our audience. Like the Fun Factory guys really mastered the audience. I think they have never really failed to fill a space, whatever big or small they occupy, because they know who their people are and what they want and how to keep them at the edge. I think it's the whole mystery around building audiences. How do you keep your people to they come to you? They are never bored. Speaking for Baimba, we've always developed I don't know what we call it the experiencing audience. Our audience is very experiencing. They always want to see something new. I think from the beginning, we've always challenged ourselves and challenged our audiences to bring in a new feeling of a new art form. That's why we managed to introduce new art forms that were not really much on the market, like video mapping, street theater. We did things like headphone disco. I don't know whether you know that. We know when we started it in 2009. And people always want to see what's new this time at Baimba. And when that drifts away, that you are not able to do the more, then your audience starts wondering what's going on. They start finding or trying to find other opportunities or other options. That's why they run away to other events. But at the same time, it might be also a good thing for you. For example, our cause in programming Baimba has always been about experiencing audience, but at the same time, we forgot about ourselves. Then we took off some 2 years of reinventing our programming, and then the audience was confused. And I didn't blame them, but it was intended to kind of create this kind of tension between, okay, where do we go? Is it still the same Baimba? But they don't know what's coming up for them. And I'm curious how they'll react when the new Baimba comes back. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Faisal. You don't know how the somebody just sent a message and says, you don't know how important this program is to me right now. I'm learning something that Richard has just said has tickled somebody. And he said, you don't know how much I've just picked from Richard in that small space. I've always seen him on stage just making us laugh. I didn't know the man can speak too much sense.
I don't know whether to take that as a compliment.
I think you should take that as a compliment. You see, Richard, we're going to take a break, but when you come back, we're going to start from that particular point of where people just see you on stage and assume that this is the sum total of the person. And they never know that this person there's more to this person. Well, the creative industry is going for a break, and when we come back, Richard Chiwanje and of course Faisal Chiwewa all the way in Belgium will be giving us a lot bit more about the differences between, you know, the creativity and innovation. These two words are always, you know, confused. And you stay right there, pick a coffee, and when we come back, we want to hear your kisses and disses. If you have some kisses, if you don't have, you know, disses, whatever it is, we're okay. The Creative Ministry Talk will be right back after the break. Young people at the moment are struggling to understand the older generation because times have changed. Technology has come in.
They've moved on.
Yes.
We're the ones sitting back and wondering, what is my child on to? TikTok has surpassed WhatsApp. The other one I call, I never call it Facebook. It's Facebook.
Yes.
Me, I keep saying, I have a foot amongst the millennials.
Yeah.
And I understand the traditionalists.
Okay.
There's a song in the 60s, by the way, and in the 90s, 70s, where they're like, parents don't understand.
Yes.
Remember Prince?
Yes.
Prince.
Yes. I want us to talk about the corporate entities, the corporate society. I mean, the money comes from there to the creative art. For a long time, while the creative people are thinking the spaces to create this stuff, you know, most ad agencies are run by creative minds. And these creative minds handle. Welcome back from that break. This is Creative Industry Talk, where we sit and discuss things that affect the industry where we are. It's a platform that exists for everyone in the creative space to think. It's a platform that we come together to share ideas. There's a platform that we believe can bring together the creators and of course the policymakers on the round table to think and to come up with, you know, very integrative mind maps that allows us to take the industry and the development around our country and our individual projects forward. Of course, Richard, welcome back to the show. And of course, Faisal Chiwewa all the way in Belgium. We are missing, you know, Jeremy Biemanzi from the advertising sector. We would have had a fantastic moment with him right there. And we hope that Jeremy will be here next week. We think that this series of having Richard and Jeremy coming in and Faisal will run for the next 2 weeks. So if you're missing this one, Richard will be back next week. But we want to hear from you. I'll start by a comment from one Frank Tugume says, I'm always glad to be here.
Oh.
And a shout out to Richard on the show and as well Faisal. And he says, I don't know how you guys are doing it, but Facebook is off in Uganda, but the show is on. And Faisal just
we are not in Uganda.
Yes, Faisal just gave him a tip on that one of what is going on. Well, Richard, welcome back to the program. I want to take you straight to. There is this, thinking Ugandans usually